Chief Clerk, voter registration. And I am here, sorry I'm so used to doing this as board elections, you guys should do something first. I am here to seek approval for the contract for the ES&S voting system that was approved by the Board of Elections in February. The contract that I had given you, and I do have more copies if you need it, outlines the purchase price that was approved by the board, and then the solicitor had some additional questions involving the contract that I outlined in the memo that I had sent you, and ES&S answered those. Basically, any of the concerns that we had, they had addressed and had changed the contract to meet those concerns that our solicitor had. Specifically the number of days that we had to report any issues. That was the big one, and then also their plan as far as going from a Windows 7 based system to a Windows 10 based system. That was something I was concerned about. They outlined that also in an attached memo that I gave you.
Question?
I have 5 questions, Michael,
Okay.
if you don't mind. Number 1 is an easy yes or no.
Okay?
It talks about user manuals. Do they provide those?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's included in the price?
Yes, they'll be providing us with user manuals on how to actually do the system itself, the individual components, and then we will actually be doing a step-by-step guide for our poll workers that bring all of those together as in one package.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was an added expense. Thank you for that clarification. Number 2, it talks about what is excluded in the warranty. And the one that kind of jumped out at me was the batteries.
Okay.
If we get a defective battery, they don't stand by it?
I would have to double check with them on that. That's not something that I caught or the solicitor checked on, but
I just know battery replacement is an issue over the years.
yeah, but so when we do the acceptance testing, so when they deliver, they'll do acceptance testing, so they'll make sure everything is up and running. At that point, we would sign off on it. So my guess is we would catch that at that time. We would not accept that piece of equipment if the battery, if it's not working at that point. Okay. My guess is probably the exclusion is it says battery because that's something that can, similar to like a tire, it has wear and tear or wear on it. It would wear out. We would have to replace those. That's something we even had to do with the current system.
I understand wear and tear, but I was concerned because you can get defective batteries.
Right. So I believe that's going to be covered in acceptance testing. I can double check with them on that, but I believe whenever we accept when they deliver it, they're going to be here roughly 3 days, and they're going to open everything up, turn it on, make sure it all works, go through their acceptance testing, and so I think we would catch any of those defects at that point.
Fair enough.
Are you in paragraph 7?
Yes.
Warranty?
Yeah.
So it says the warranty shall not include the repair or replacement of any ES&S equipment that are consumed in the normal course of operating, and that's where they list paper rolls, ribbons, cartridges, batteries, removable media, and so on. So I believe it's as a consumable, like the tires example.
And I interpret it as, because it's a consumable item, but I'm concerned about upon delivery.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be defective. This is saying that if it wears out after 3 years, having been consumed, it's not under warranty.
And I interpreted it just because it is consumable. But and attorneys argue those things, so that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yep.
Okay. Number 3. This one kind of took me by surprise when I read it talks about, well, if we sell, you have to sign off that they can make the sale to another company. Okay, I've heard that language before when Cedar Haven came, and it raises a flag for me. But on the other hand, page 15 talks about a sign that says it's automatic. So to me, the two of those are conflicting, and maybe attorneys, again, would argue both sides. But I wanted to call it to your attention to look at before you submit the... Does that make sense? You guys have done a stellar job. It's just what jumped out at me.
I looked at these since you mentioned it to me earlier today. The paragraph 12, I think these serve 2 different purposes, these paragraphs. Paragraph 12 is for assignment. So basically, unless ES&S simply reorganizes, that we wouldn't have a say in a reorganization, but if they were to propose to sell it, transfer, assign it to another company or so on, we would have to agree to that. Or we could walk away and go to another vendor, I presume. So that small paragraph is just about the assignment and agreeing to a reassignment of the terms. Paragraph 15 is called entire agreement, and that's basically saying that everything that's contained in the previous verbiage is what dictates our contract with them, that any negotiation in the past, any verbal agreement, handshake, whatever, goes away, and this agreement is what is now driving everything. So that's what I read.
Okay, again, it just seemed like a conflict, and I wanted to point it out. As long as you guys and our attorney are saying it's good, I'm okay with it, but they could be argued either way. So the next one, now the last two are probably the two biggest ones.
Okay.
I've mentioned storage in the past, and in two separate places, one in the main agreement and one in the follow-up maintenance agreement. It emphasizes storage in temperature, climate control, whatever, however it's worded. But I know the warehouse where we store the machines is not climate controlled. Can we like build in walls and put dehumidifiers in there or something to meet this, or do we have another plan for storage? Because then if it's another location, they want extra charges to go to two different places to test equipment. Have we gotten to the point where we know how we're going to handle this?
Not really. We have stored the existing machines in this same location. While it's not air conditioned, it is climate controlled for heat. So it doesn't get down to sub-zero or freezing temperatures in there. It does have heat. It's a concrete building, so in the summertime it can get warm and humid in there, but we've not had any issues with the prior ES&S machines. It's something we can investigate. We before that had them stored at Renova Center on the ground floor of Renova, which was, I don't think that was conditioned space other than it was below conditioned space. We ended up having a problem there because there were water lines overhead and there was a failure, and we did have some machines that had to be repaired and replaced. So that's the answer I have for you now.
Okay.
We have stored similar equipment there without any trouble.
And I'm going to emphasize this again, that this does need to be addressed. Not only is it in these contracts, which, they're saying there are issues there. The state, Jonathan Marks, he doesn't pull any, punches. He says it as it is. Warned us, the new machines are more sensitive to moisture and climate change and things of that nature. Electronics in general do not like those extreme conditions, and if we get 100-degree days, I don't know how hot it's going to get in there, or how humid if we have lots and lots of rain with the moisture and things like that. So I think we do have to up our storage for the voting machines, and I bring that to your attention because A, Jonathan Marks warned us about it, and B, it's in the contract in two places. People are telling us do this, so we have to do something, okay?
I have some ideas. Let me talk with Mike about it.
All right, thank you. And then the last one, and I don't know if you have an answer or not, but have you been contacted about our continuity of operations plan for voting?
Yes.
Okay, great, so
Yes.
that's in process.
Yes, so I talked to Robert, I don't want to say his name wrong, is it Robert Dow, right? Is that the Department of?
Oh,
yeah,
Bob,
okay.
okay.
I'm down.
Oh, Bob, sorry. He was over, he said they're gonna work something up for us, and then he knew that I was in the middle of, election season, so
Yes.
he said he would get back in touch with me. But yes, he did come over shortly after we had the conversation regarding that, yes.
And previous to that, they had already worked with you on on election day.
Yes.
You know, what to do if they're out of electric. They have some backup generators.
Yes.
They could mobilize if they need to and so on. So
Correct.
They've worked on some of that before.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you for, you guys do a swell job, but before I vote on something of this magnitude,
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I had all my answers. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while. Do we have a motion on the floor? No. Seek a motion.
I'll move to go forward with the purchase of the voting machines as outlined by Michael and reviewed by our solicitor.
Second motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anything else? Going once? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.